Oh, wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Essential Therapy Wellness Center. This is actually the first time on my laptop. For whatever reason, I've been able to go live. But welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Right now, I am live. Usually, I pre record and then post because of the restrictions. But now it seems like I'm able to go live. So that's awesome. I'm not sure who might be jumping on, but I just want to have some conversations. The title of this is Thoughts and Conversations. Um, and I just feel like I'm just led to share a couple of things that maybe that will resonate with a lot of you. We've done quite a few videos, still yet some to come, but nevertheless, I'll say for me, I'm getting back into myself more so because okay, let me turn this around. Getting back into myself, when I say that, I mean a lot of us are going through some functional depression. Hmm. Oh, this way? Yeah. A lot of us are going through some functional depression. And you think because you're not laying in bed, because you're not crying all day, because you're still able to do and handle business, you're still able to pay your bills, you're still able to think. But a lot of you can be going through a functional depression. I know I did. Um, of course, life happens, various things go on, but when you finally get a place of peace and respite, and it's not so much that anyone is doing something or not doing something. It's more or less just about the peace of mind you have within yourself. And sometimes people think that when you're going through something internally, that it's because of a person or something that to that extent. But I feel like in this time of year, in this season, a lot of us are being called to stand still. Yes, it's the holidays. People are off spending time with family, but people are also off because everything is closed. So use this time to really seek out, your joy, your peace, your happiness, and what it is that you're being led to do to move forward in life. As we turn this new chapter going into 2025, this is yet another change. And some of you are like, damn, can I get a break? Hmm. I know I'm talking. I know I'm talking right. Some of you is like, can I get a break? Some of you are like, if this ain't one thing, it's another. And I know we are trained not to say that. Excuse me, my lips are dry. I know we are that's not really good to say because you don't want to bring things on yourself. You don't want to perpetuate anything on yourself. But it's a lot of you are in that vein. You've been functional, but you've been not happy. You've not been at peace. Happiness is sometimes based off of circumstances. Sometimes, and sometimes, dare I say, some people think that happiness is depending on what the other person's doing or not doing. But it's really, really an inward work. It's really an inward perspective, inward interconnectedness. And some of us have lost that, if we're honest. If we're honest. I think getting here to the island is when I really, really, really start to find myself. For those of you that are just tuning in, my husband and I relocated in March. We started our journey to relocating, or not relocated, but locating to Jamaica. And you can look at the previous videos if you want to know what that process was as we shared it. We still had more to share, but we just kind of got lost because we were trying. It was a transition. It definitely was a journey to this transition. And so you can go back and look at those videos, but I was just going back to the point of some of us are in a functional depression because it wasn't until I got to Jamaica that I realized I could finally breathe. I could finally breathe. I um I was tired of the rat race. We said this is some of the reasons why we moved to Jamaica. We were tired of the rat race. We was tired, just tired, just tired. You know what I mean? And we are in a situation where we're able to live abroad, support ourselves, and still try to find means and ways and avenues to support what it is the divine has us here to do. And for some of us, that's different things. For some of us, that's very different things. But whatever it is, I encourage you to find that piece of what it is for you. For us, it might have been, let's move to a different environment. Sometimes the environment does matter. I'm not saying run from your issues. I'm not saying that everybody's able to just jump ship and go live in another country. I'm not saying that, but whatever it is that you're able to do, in your power to do, to get yourself to a better place. It might not be a location. It just might be, like I said, well, first it needs to start as an inward work, and then it can go on to whatever else is gonna be for you. I want to tell you that everything you need is inside of yourself. Yeah. Um, some of us are led to make some hard decisions in this coming year because we're just sick of going through cyclic demise, issues, toxicities, whether the change needs to happen in you or whether it needs to happen around you, whether you need to move things and people out, or whether you need to gravitate towards a connection that you have with someone. And whatever that is for you, that's what you're led to do. It's just a conversation. It's just the conversation we're having. Recently, I've had to make a very, very hard decision to disassociate myself with someone that I really, really loved, adored, honored, respected, cherished, shared a lot of connections with. You know, on the Genesis, um, this person and I connected because our spiritual perception and practices were changing and morphing, you know, um, into more of the religion of love, the spirituality sense. We connected on that because sometimes people feel like when they're learning something new about themselves or about spirituality or whatever, sometimes it can be an isolated situation because everyone around you is trying to make judgment or pass judgment on what it is that the divine is telling you to do. And that's where we found ourselves in for a period of time in our life when we were first becoming friendly to the point of sisterhood. And then that morphed here recently into something else. And I'm not blaming that person. I'm just more or less saying that the divine had me make a hard decision. And I don't understand the totality of it in its essence. However, what I do understand is I had to honor myself. I had to honor myself and be obedient to my spirit, and I'm glad that I did. It's still a process. But some of you may that's listening to me or might come across this video, it may be that very thing with you. You might find yourself in a situation that you're in a relationship or a connection with an individual or individuals or a group or whatever the case may be. And it's when they say seasons have come and they've ended, so a new one can begin, that is very much true. And we don't all the way understand it sometimes, but I guarantee you that it's for your protection on some level. And I found myself feeling this shift when I was going through my situation. I found myself feeling shifts, but I just didn't understand where to pinpoint the action that I'm supposed to take. And it wasn't probably for the then and now. I mean, it wasn't for the then, but it's definitely for the here and now. And things, sometimes God will allow you to go through things to perpetuate the decision you're supposed to make or put you in a situation where you got no choice but to see what it is that you're supposed to do to shift this situation around. You have to make a decision, especially if you're saying, especially if you're praying. Sometimes we pray things and then when it comes in our face, we are scared to face it. And I know. But all along, You're laying awake at night knowing it's something for you to change about a certain situation. You're laying awake at night. You find yourself being very pensive about how it's going to happen. Why is it happening? And you might not have all the answers to the test on that situation, but it will come later. And I'm going to we're going to do a video on the ayahuasca that we experienced back in August, but I will just reference that in saying that when you're doing shadow work on yourself, when you're working on your heart chakra, when you're working on your confidence, when you're working on your purpose, when you're working on defining what that is, when you're seeking the Most High, whoever you believe in, for that direction, it may not come in a way that's familiar. It may not come in a way that you plan. And you may not even want to make the decision altogether. But I guarantee you, if you are spending time, quality time with the divine, and downloads are coming, but you want to you want to direct it to other things that may feel a little bit more comfortable to make a decision about, but the thing that's really really holding everything up is you making that one decision. We gotta see for what that is. And God is so loving. God is so loving that there'll be a situation that you cannot escape it. You cannot turn the other cheek. You cannot be blind to it. You can't sit down. Something will feel very upsetting to you, whether that person um says something, does something, implies something that crosses boundaries to make you make a decision. As in my case, it's best to listen. And don't get me wrong, I love this individual. I still do. I wish nothing but the best for her. Nothing but the best for her. But I just knew it came to a point in time where our season right now has ended. I'm not saying that it won't, something might come up in the near future, but right now I have to shift. And if us growing even, because not sometimes it's not about you, it's about the collective, it's about you and them, it's about both of you in different ways. And God is just like, hey, y'all got to separate. There's a level of codependency here. There's a level of codependency, and we don't want to label it as that. But if you really sit and think about it, there's a soul tie that's been intertwined, and some of those fibers are not good to keep going to the end. Y'all hear what I'm saying? These are just conversations that we can have, and let's be real about it. Let's be real. Yeah. So if y'all are laying awake at night and y'all are really, really trying to figure out what is it that I'm supposed to do, and you're lending yourself to the spirit of God and your ancestors and your guides, and you're trying to get into nature, when you get your answer, I encourage you. I pray for you to have the courage to make the change that's called for you. I encourage you to make the shift, to delete, to add, whatever it is, subtract. I pray for your courage and to make these hard changes. And relationships are very, very important. They're very important. They're our interconnectedness. And our relationship with the divine has a good correlation of how we relate to other people and how they relate to us. And so we want to stay in the face of the divine for that guidance, even in our relationships, because as much as they are great, the connections at the wrong time, or the connections that are out of time, out of now, expiration of relationships, and you're trying to keep something thriving because of we've known each other so long, we've been together for so long, we've been through so much for so long. That's cool, but is it going to be profiting you for the next chapters and seasons? And as we embark, some of us need to go through our Facebook and delete some people Because some people have spectator spirits. They really ain't here to check on you. They're checking for you, but they ain't checking on you. Yeah, spectator spirits. And then you have um, I'm feeling like to say those intrusive spirits too. Intrusive spirits. Mm. These are just conversations, thoughts and conversations. As I sit and have time since being back in Jamaica and having the time, I have nothing but time. Time is what whatever I decide to do from day to day is what I decide to do while I'm here, and that's why I love the liberation I feel, the freeness, the freedom, and me personally, I thrive in freedom. I think we all should, right? I'm not saying we're not supposed to have some structure somewhere, like we have our jobs, our responsibilities, and such. But when you're able to just have a free time, a free moment, you're able to build some things and accomplish some things and think some things from A to Z. Whereas before, you might be a little bit distracted. There's another video if y'all haven't seen this. It's like your balance comes in your breaks. You know, your balance comes in your breaks, and that can come in a lot of ways. That can be in a lot of ways. um yeah, I'm not gonna make this too long. Like I said, I just want to see, this is the beginning of me keeping my consistency. This is the promise or the charge I'm giving myself, and the divine is giving me, to stay consistent. Because a lot of times you just get so distracted that you forget what it is that you love to do, what you're led to do, what you desire to do. And then I'm going to say this out loud. And then sometimes we play small. We play small because when we broadcast ourselves on social media, whatever the case may be, some small toxic voice in the back of your head, or someone that you've been around, you have like a notion or fear that they're going to think that you are thinking you all that and da da da. And I'm here to tell you, anyone that's ever said something like that to you is not your friend. It's not your friend. Your real friends celebrate what the divine has led you to do. Your real friends celebrate on what the divine has led you to do, and don't have like these hidden innuendos. Don't play small in 2025. Don't do it. Do not do it. If people around you criticizing you, putting their mouth on you, cut their asses off. Cut them off. Cut them off. I was listening to Mel Robbins one night. This is in my nights. I was tarrying with the spirit. I should say the spirit was tarrying with me, because I was working through some things about this particular relationship I was telling you about briefly. Um, and she was talking about tree and leaves, and how a leaf that stays on a branch past its time, it starts to deplete the tree. As big as the tree is, it starts to deplete the tree. I said, a leaf, that one little leaf can deplete the moisture and the nutrients of a tree if stayed up there too long. And I just really, really was intrigued. And she went through the whole theory about why leaves fall from trees in the fall time, why there's seasonal things that happen with flowers and leaves on a tree. And it didn't come by happenstance, because my book that's coming out is called The Roots Within. And stay tuned to that. We'll talk more about that, because I'm finishing it off, and that's one of my consistency homework assignments, is that it's finished. What's going to happen with it next? It's not going to bless anyone just sitting on my computer Now I finally got the foreword, so that's a good step in the right direction as far as getting it out there. So now I'm just, getting it, finding a publisher so I can start to get it out. And it'll also be on ebook as well. It's called The Roots Within. So stay tuned for that. But I talk a lot about generational curses in that book. I talk a lot about learning who you are, the fabric that you've come from, but not being hell bent to those limiting beliefs and some of those traditions and mindsets that we've grown up with. Because to be honest with you, some of those traditions and mindsets and beliefs have come from a place of being limited and being stifled and being enslaved. And frankly, we don't live there no more. If you don't choose to live there in your mind, you ain't there no more. So it's talking about that. And in one video I'll sit down and talk about the more or less the summary, but I still want you to understand that there's meat. There's a workbook that goes with the book to kind of help us work through, because scribing is very healing, is very therapeutic, help us get through some of this junk this junk, this junk that we've gone years and years and years. We've ingrained in ourselves, and then we've intertwined it throughout relationships, and then they end and another one begins, and it be the same person with a different face. Like it's like that. It's like that. And I definitely feel like it's come from the unction of the spirit, as well as my experiences and things and people around me that I've witnessed, and that all of us have gone through some of these same situations. But it's time for us not to live there, dwell there, build a cardboard box around our limiting beliefs because we just want to be so comfortable. Growing is uncomfortable. We call them growing pains for a reason. Evolving, ascending is uncomfortable. Sometimes you might have to leave some people, and they might think, oh, you thought you was all that. They have all this mess to say. And it's easier said than done, but it's not your business. It's not your business. Let them tell whatever narrative they got to say. And I'm telling you, going through this period of time, I look at reels and memes and such and so forth, and it's like everything that came up was just inspiring for me to make the decision I needed to make to honor myself. It was like an attraction because God knows my heart. God knows my heart, but my heart was broken by this individual. And I'm strong enough to admit it. I think this person thought that if they used this situation to make their point, that it would get me, it would really get me where it hurts. And they succeeded in that. But now it came as an expense of a relationship. The trust is broken. I still love her, but the trust is broken. And once trust is broken, how authentic can the connection be? How authentic can it be? This is for somebody. I'm not the only one that's gone through in the most recent months building to have to end something that we thought would last forever. And whatever way that is, having to end something that you thought would last forever. You couldn't have guessed in a million years that this person will use something so sacred to make a point. And it wasn't even a point at all. Why? Because the facts wasn't even factual. It was That's how you know somebody was reaching. And people will do that. People will do that. People will reach and don't even know what the hell they're reaching for. And you'd be like, wow, you went there? It's okay. I still love her. I wish her well. I want nothing but the best for her. I don't have nothing bad to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm healing from what happened, but I just know I have to honor myself. And this is a message for you. whoever it might be. Honor yourself. Love yourself. That's not a selfish thing, it's a self fulfilling thing. Fill your cup back up. That's what I'm doing. I'm filling my cup back up. Because when I tell you that that knocked my cup over, I would have never ever thunk it. I never would have thunk it. And I'm even proud of myself for putting this out there because I'm not trying to bash a person. I'm just telling you what my experiences are and what I'm growing through, what I'm healing through, you know. And I'm not afraid because I know I'm not the only one that's gone through something similar to this, or somebody's gone through something similar, or exactly what I'm saying is reading your mail, whatever the case may be. But I've decided that as I have healed from that functional depression and I'm steadily healing and getting back to the core of me, and that's what a lot of us are called to do, is get back to the core of you. And I'm glad I'm in a place to do that. I'm glad I'm with my husband who supports me to do that, and I support him to do the same. It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. So now you got to shift your focus into the now, being present. What is it that I need right now? A lot of us have to ask ourselves that. What is it that I'm needing right now? Some of it can be a far off from what we think. And then some of the things that you can do for yourself, even if it's take a hot bath, put some candles around your bathtub, put some nice soft music on and just lay and be. And try not to let your mind wander about anything you got to do tomorrow or even anything you got to do for that evening. Just let it be. That's a form of meditation. It's a form of meditation. It truly is. But I'm going to stop here. Thank you for who all is listening in to my thoughts of conversation in conversation. Feel free to comment in the comment box. Feel free, please, to subscribe. Trying to get the subscribers up, okay? Because we have more content that we want to put up here, but we definitely want to reach as many people as want to be reached. Um, Please don't forget to like the video if anything or everything I've said. And I do read the comments. So if I can catch them, I got to do better at that. I'm going to be honest with you. There was a comment that I saw 6 months ago when I was talking about, oddly enough, generational curses. It was part 2. I was talking about that and people had commented and I didn't even realize it. So now that I'm back on here more regularly, because I will be, because this is the season for me to do this and broaden my base, to impart, because that's what I feel like my gift is impartation of all things positive, impart the truth, impart all of the things that the divine has led me to say or share, and let it be for someone's benefit. Let it be encouragement. Love yourself, love each other, and live on purpose. Live on purpose. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in to Essential Therapy Wellness Center. Stay tuned. Until next time. Ashe.